Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Martina, and today I brought with me the little blue book of inspiration. This little cutie I have created having in mind predominantly, but not exclusively, all of you who are relatively new to junk journaling. And I remember well the time when I started. It was quite intimidating to see all these wonderful things which junk journal artists made, and I thought, oh, how do I do it? Where do I get the material? Where do I get the inspiration? And so I thought this little book can be a helper, can be a source of inspiration, or can be just a handful of joy for all of you who are interested and who are, let's call it, addicted to junk journaling. So, the little blue book of inspiration. Some of you might remember that I made a similar book, a bigger one, which I called Fantasy in Blue, which has found a new home. And I had still a little bit of this really, really pretty fabric left. And this was the starting point for making this little journal, because I thought I would like to make the best use of the rest of this wonderful fabric, which was a gift for me, and so I made this one, and I open it so you can have a look on this really, really pretty fabric. Isn't it amazing? It's a brocade, and I have also decorated a little bit further, not too much, because I wanted to have the focus on this beauty of this fabric. So I just added a trim, and I have added some white trim, which I have ruffled a little bit, and then I made a little applique with a rose, paper rose or so, and some snippets. But now let's go inside. As I said, it's a little one, but nevertheless it's completely grown up, an adult junk journal, so to say. Okay, she has 3 signatures and more than 120 pages, and the consequence of this, of course, is that she opens like that. She has an alligator mouth. That's my style. Don't worry. You can still make use of it either for inspiration purposes or for further decorating or writing or rearranging all the many texts and journaling cards which are inside. And having said that, this little cutie is available in my Etsy shop. So let's start. Oops, got stuck. Okay, so what you see on the left-hand side is what I call a compartment with this turn closure. So there are 2 little circles, and I have wrapped around some crochet thread in order to close it. Here I have added some lace, some very, very tiny lace, and when you open it, then you see, oh, there is a pocket, and this pocket has been formed by some other lace. Really, really pretty. And the lace has been attached on the decoration of the inside, and this decoration is wallpaper. And this wallpaper I have gathered in a Home Depot department where they had some samples which you can take and in order to find out whether this wallpaper would be suitable for your home. But I also use it for making some adornments, for making some crafting things with it. So this is one of the first hints for those of you who ask yourself, where do I get all the material? This is a good source. So here I have added a journaling card, which I have also further decorated with a little bit of this lace over here. And this one is one of my self-created tags. And I did it in a way that I have torn some magazine pages, colored magazine pages, glued it on a piece of paper, cut it into tag shapes. So I've used a cutting machine, but you can do it by hand as well. I have embossed it also. Well, you can hardly see it. And then I have added, and this is also the reason why you have some color here, I have added acrylic paint on it in order to give it this shine. And you can see that you can because it's a little bit transparent, you can also see the background of the different magazine papers. You see a little bit of pink, you see a little bit of blue, and you see the green on top. And it sits here, and it's just some example of what you can do. Let's go into the first of the 3 signatures. I have decorated this one with some pretty lace, sewn it on. And the inside I have also decorated with some nice digital paper. Then what you are going to find in this journal is a lot of coffee dyed paper, because I typically almost completely or exclusively use coffee dyed or avocado dyed paper in my journals. Sometimes I do a little bit more, and this is what you can see here. I have added, after the coffee dyeing had been completed and had been dry, I've added some color pigments and a stencil on it, and then you get this wonderful shape. And you also get, because this color pigments had a gold shimmer, you also get a little bit of gold. And here I have added just a little piece and a little scrap piece of the wonderful brocade fabric for further decoration. I've sewn it on, and I love that it's fraying. As I said, coffee dyed paper, and I've used some lace. I have a temptation for using lace, and I have, I think, used very different pieces of lace throughout this journal. It's just, a temptation for me to do it, and I like to do it, and most of them I have sewn on. Some are glued at a later point in time, because once I have bound the journal, you cannot sew, therefore you have to glue. But anyway, this one is sewn. And on the next page, what you see is a little envelope which I have folded. And just one comment, this is a little small cutie, a little joy journal. However, the effort and the work you put into it is almost the same like doing a big one. Sometimes it's even a little bit more complicated, because you have to make things much smaller. And in this case, what I did is I have decorated the folded envelope with 2 layers of lace, or trim and lace, or 2 layers of trim. You see this one with the gold, and from the background I have added this one. And then I also added velcros in order to keep it close. So, and inside you have 2 little die cuts which appear to be stamps. Not real stamps, but they look like. So I put it back. And this is just a little gimmick. It's just a nice thing. And you could also, because I kept the inside white, you can also use it to write some secrets onto it. This is some decoration which I have glued on from some scrap digital paper, and I've also colored the edges of the page with some blue distress oxide or distress ink. I formed a pocket, and inside there is a little cute journaling card, and this applique I cut out from some fabric. I don't know, was it a blouse? I have no clue, I can't remember, but I like the blue, and I like that the blue and this blue are very well in tune, so I glued it on here. And on the next page, what you are also going to see throughout this journal is that I have used gift wrapping paper, because there are so pretty gift wrapping papers, and you can make good use of it. And in this case here, I have glued it on just to decorate the page. And then I have used this pretty transparent fabric. I have no clue what kind of material it is. But I like it because it's, as I say, transparent, and you can see through, obviously, what is behind. And in this case, I have attached one of also my self-created tags. And this one is also a multi-step process, because I used different stamps, I watered them, and then I embossed it. And I made this on relatively heavy paper in white, and then you get these wonderful effects. And also, of course, I have added, as you can see, some gold flakes. I think it looks a little bit, well, like marble. So this is also some scrap from digital paper, and I have coffee dyed it because I didn't want to keep it plain white. Here I have used a piece of paper from a notebook, and it shows a little, or not a little, it shows a house in Tuscany. On this page I have created a double pocket by using some smaller pieces of cardstock or of design paper, which are, I like the colors. Here I've also used some washi tape, and this one here, this on the edge, this is also wallpaper. And you can put this here, and you can put the lady here. This is just for decoration purposes, and this is made in the same way like the tag I've shown you before. And this is made in the same way like the paper I have shown you before, namely coffee dyeing and then color pigments and stenciling. This is just some gold fabric. I used it because I like it for the haptic, for the touch, and yeah, seeing a junk journal is one thing. Having it in your hand is another thing, because due to the different kind of fabrics or fabrics material which is being used, you also have another sensory effect. You have the touch, you have the, yeah, I think that's a completely different thing. But anyway, I hope you still enjoy looking at this journal. Here what I did is I've used some pieces of a doily. I have ruffled it a little bit, and then I've glued on some rhinestones. On the next page I show you that you also can use lace for making a tuck spot. So this is what I did here, and I've picked this green lace because it's very well in harmony with the digital paper which I've used to decorate this page. And then here you see a little journaling card which I have created, and because I had these little feathers in green and red, I've sewn them on, and I think it looks very nice, and it's something which is relatively unusual. Here you see some embossed, I think also gift wrapping paper, and I've added just some color splashes onto it. This one, those of you who have seen some other videos which I made will know what comes now. This is perfect color dyed, coffee dyed paper made by my friend May in Saudi Arabia. She does the most stunning coffee dyeing papers and other things, of course. What I did here, in order to give this a decoration element but also this haptic touch element, I've glued on pieces of this doily which I've used here, just for decoration and haptic. The same lace I've shown you before I have used to form a pocket here, and inside there is a journaling card. And as you can see, I have basically sewn around all of the journaling cards or tags which I've used in this little cutie. And this is because I like the touch. I like the feeling that it's a little bit more put together, but this is really personal taste. This here, the background paper, is also gift wrapping paper. A peacock needs to be in all of my journals, and that's the peacock number 1, which you see here. And this one is a flip. You can flip it like this. And then you see, oh, there is a side pocket, and in this side pocket I have attached 2 collector cards. Old collector cards, I think vintage, definitely vintage. I don't think they are, no, they are not antique, but they are vintage, and they show 2 birds, and they are so pretty. So I put this back. This again is this embossed paper. Okay, here I still need to make a little thread, and this is the same technique which you've seen before. So this is magazine papers torn and glued and embossed and painted with acrylic paint. A little side pocket with this really, really pretty blue bird sitting on this blue meadow. And what I also realized and what I like to do, to use from time to time, are wine labels. So this is a wine label from a red wine, and I like this decoration so much. And I have glued on, maybe you can see it here, I have glued on a little peacock in the center because I didn't like what was in the center. So it's just for decoration and for inspiration for you when you wonder, where do I get the material? This here is wallpaper. This is the coffee color dyed paper which I made. A light lace which I've sewn on. And this is also, I think, a very nice page where I have used design paper to create a pocket here, a pocket there, and also to create some tags using a cutting machine. But you can also, of course, cut by hand. Maybe not exactly this shape, but the rectangular one you can do. So this is the butterfly which you have seen before, and this is also gift wrapping thread, not thread, but I ruffled it, and I like the colors. I like this light blue because it's very well in tune with the blue which you see here and the blue over there. I formed a pocket here, and inside this pocket there is a little journaling card, and this journaling card also has a tab in order to take it out more easily. Here I have used some lace, some trim to form a pocket. You see I have sewn it on, and I've used the zigzag over here in order to avoid that it frays. And then there is a journaling card, and the thread which I've used to decorate the top is also for gift wrapping from a gift which I received. And I think it's very nice, and it of course is blue because the theme of this journal with the name The Little Blue Book of Inspiration is blue. Not exclusively, but predominantly. On the next page you see the same pretty lace you have seen before on the very first pocket, and there is this really, really magical pretty owl inside, again decorated with this thread. This is this little paper from before, and what I did here is I have made a paper clip, and also here I've used some scraps. I have also stamped on it. You can see this note lines, they come from my stamp. And then I have decorated the edges with some gold acrylic paint. And on the back side I have attached the clip. So, and this was the first signature. Now we come to number 2. And number 2 is also decorated. And I have used 2 layers of lace, or 1 lace and 1 trim, one sewn, one from the back side and one from the top side. And when you open it, you see here this is an applique which I've coffee dyed because it was really it was in a color which I didn't really like, so I toned it down a little bit. And inside there are some tickets, blue. Using coffee to stencil paper and the stencil to achieve this effect is also very, very nice. And I've used a stencil which has these kind of antique writing, and I think it really has a special effect. And then here I've added some lace, light lace sewn on, gift wrapping paper, again with some lace. On the back side I have formed a little pocket with a small journaling card. Of course everything is a little bit smaller than when you have a usual big journal. This is one of the few plain pages in terms of color, but in order to give it a little bit more interest, I have sewn around it in blue. And here, what you see here, this is an envelope which I have decorated using decoupage technique. So this means you take paper towels, glue them on, and I've also added some old book paper or antique book paper, and I've added some gold flakes. And in order to make it really resistant to tear, I have used some acrylic varnish. And inside there is another tab, another tag with a tab or journaling card. Then I have used part of this decoupaged material I have used to form a pocket. And in this pocket there is one of my beloved old collector cards showing forget-me-not. Wonderful, I love it. And I've also made a die cut with an oak tree leaf. This is again this embossed paper. I've added some lace here, and I've also used some distress color or dye to make the decoration pop out a little bit more. Again, my self-dyed paper. This is something I cut out from an antique book, and I've distressed the edges a little bit. And then I've formed some pockets out of a paper doily. And in order to make sure that it doesn't tear, I have secured it with some washi tape. And you see this is the pocket. And inside there is a journaling card. This is a copy from an old book, which I have also coffee dyed. And in the center spot, you see this is this little piece of paper sewn around in blue, decorated with some leftovers from this pretty brocade. And when you open it like this, then you see again pretty gift wrapping paper. And what you also see is that I have formed it into two pockets. So, and inside there is decoupaged journaling tags which I made, decoupaged and also embossed, and secured with varnish, of course, and decorated with this thread, gift wrapping thread. And then I had some little pieces of a blue lace, and I cut out the flowers, and I've just added it here because I thought it looks nice. And then here again the folded pocket from this paper doily. The paper which I've made, I told you how I did it, and this one I've left longer so you can open it like this. Here I have just glued on some of the gift wrapping paper. It's so pretty, I think. I love this gold and pink. And this is this paper which I've sewn around. Also gift wrapping paper, my stenciled coffee dyed paper, also folded so you can see it like this. So this would also allow you, if you want to write, well, maybe not here, but in general, when you make it like this, you have, of course, obviously more space to write or journal in. And here there is a side pocket, and there is a little tag. Number 2. Now we come to the last one, to number 3. And number 3 carries what I tend to call an apron. So sometimes I make an additional cover on the cover of a signature. And this one here I've cut in a specific form. I've distressed the edges with some, I think, blue distress oxide. And on the back side I have colored it a little bit with pink, because as I say, I didn't want to keep it just white, although it would have matched the decoration over here quite well, because this paper, which features some lace fabric, is also quite white, quite white. And because of this, I have also picked a lace which is very white, so that it's in harmony. On the inside, again decorated with some nice digital paper. Again, the paper which I have created by coffee dyeing and stenciling and using this antique writing stencil. Here I have formed a little pocket, again decoupage, and you also can see I've added some glitter on this decoupage as well, and an old book paper, and of course varnish. And inside there are two peacocks, and in that case I have not backed them with any other paper, and I've not sewn around it because they are so tiny and I didn't want to make the journal more bulky. I have attached some avocado dyed lace over here, and the opposite side is glued on and decorated with some leftover from this brocade. This is decoration from some digital paper. This is again this pretty gift wrapping paper, and you can open it like this. So this means more space to write or something to hide. This is another, on this side, this is another wallpaper. Very pretty. And also here I have used some color in order to give more interest. And I think it's a perfect match when you look at this pink and at this pink. Very pretty. From time to time I also like to use fabric as a kind of a flip or cover up. And this is here, in that case, I have picked some cotton fabric, so this is normal thickness, and I've torn it. You can see here it frays, and I like that it frays, and it shows a dragon. And a dragon is not only, sometimes it can be dangerous, but very often it's a symbol of happiness and luck, good luck, and therefore I kept it here, sewn it on. And behind it there is another of this collector cards, and this is another blue flower. And here I have added a little bit of lace, and you can flip it like this, and you see the lace is just as decorative as can be. On the next page, another tuck spot and another of my decoupaged and embossed tags. I like to do it because, first of all, the process is very relaxing and the result is always interesting. So, because you never know what comes out, and therefore it's exactly what I like to do. Here there is a side pocket, but not really a pocket. It's more like a kind of a band, not a belly band, but it's a kind of a band. And inside there is another small journaling card or tag. And here I have again sewn around a dark coffee dyed paper. I like this blue and brown combination a lot. And here you have plain paper, but in this case it's light blue, decorated with some trim, and this one is also sewn. And then you can see here I have added something which I have glued on with washi tape. And of course you know, but maybe some of you don't, washi tape does not really stick very well. So when you want to use washi tape in a way that it's really sticks, you have to add additional adhesive, also additional glue. This is what I did here, because I wanted this really pretty gift wrapping paper to stick, and it looks like that. And I like it with this light blue and this blue over here, and of course the gold. So this is the coffee dyed paper with some lace. Again, I've decorated it with some little scraps of this gift wrapping paper. And the funny thing is that it was folded, and when you touch it, you feel the wrinkles. I like it. This is another pretty page, was created by design paper. Again, this decoration which I've attached here, I like it. It's also when you touch it, it's just nice. And what you see here is a kind of a gimmick, but it can have a purpose when you want to use it for writing. I've just folded a strip of paper like this. You can unfold it, you can fold it back, and because I have attached this lace, it tears it down a little bit and keeps it put. This is this pretty wallpaper. This is another pocket and another journaling card. So we are almost at the end. Here I have attached some lace, but this one is not lace. I would say rather trim, because this is more robust. But I like, as I say, I like the touch. And yeah, this is the reason why I put it in here. And this is the rest of the apron. And then you have a belly band. The belly band sits on wallpaper, and the belly band is formed from wallpaper. So what is behind it? What is behind is an envelope which I have created, and it's closed by a bow which I have secured over here. And then I've decorated it not with lace but with specially cut paper. When you open it, you see the inside has another piece of paper. And then what is inside is just a piece of my self-created, self-dyed paper. I thought the future owner might want to use it for whatever purpose she wants. And another thing to tell you is that this envelope is expandable. So I put it back later. I show you again the little blue book of inspiration. I hope you liked it, and I hope you got some inspiration, and I hope to see you soon. And this was your Martina. Bye bye.